The Book of Nature. In the background of everything lies a silence that is not an absence of sound but a presence of being. We can maybe notice it like a silent breath of life that flows between our thoughts in a stillness that cradles our soul. When we enter nature, the mountains, the forest, we may at first experience our own inner noise that lies like a buffer between the silence and us. But as we manage to neutralize those things, then we may, after a while, find ourselves in a flow that contains a profound stillness that speaks louder than any words. During such a moment, the rustling of leaves, the whisper of the wind, the soft murmur of a distant stream invites us to listen, not with our ears, but with our hearts. When we are open, then nature, in its infinite wisdom, can teach us the art of being. We can see trees standing tall and unmoved by storms, while they are deeply rooted into the earth, reaching ever upwards towards the sky. They do not rush, they neither fret or frown. They are patient, growing inch by inch, year by year, embracing every season with strength and grace. In their presence we may be reminded of our own roots, of our own deep connection with the earth and with the whole cosmos. We too are namely meant to stand rooted in the truth of being, while we in our immovable stillness reach out for the light. But how often doesn't it reality happens that we find ourselves fully disconnected from this truth? Aren't we most often lost in the noise that we create? The world that lies outside of us is filled with distractions, with all sorts of things that call our attention, pulling us from here to there in all kinds of directions. Our minds tend to run while our hearts tend to race, searching for a strand of peace. It is in the middle of this chaos that most often fills us, that nature calls us back to ourselves. Nature reminds us and invites us to step away from that noise, to enter the quiet sanctuary of the forest, the sacred space of the mountains, the rivers of the starry sky. They all invite us to the same, and that is to find silence and peace in the simplicity of being. When we enter this sacred space, then we stop being the observers. We become participants in a divine harmony. Our breath becomes a rhythmic prayer, while the ground beneath our feet becomes a sacred altar, whilst each step we take becomes part of the essence that we really are. As we learn to resonate in the silence, we start shedding the layers of who we think we are, all the roles, all the titles, all the goals, all the expectations. We become lighter, freer, and more attuned to the subtle rhythm of life around us. In this state of communion with nature, we recognize a world that we always knew. We notice the intricate patterns on a leaf, the delicate curve of a petal, the way the light filters through the canopy above us while our hearts are filled with life. We may realize in such a moment that everything is interconnected, that we are part of a vast living mystery of life. This realization is not an intellectual one, it is one that is deeply felt within the core of our being. In this state, when the river doesn't only flow in the valley, but it flows within us. The mountains don't just rise on the horizon, but they rise within our own souls. And in this state of silence and freedom, we are not only reading in the book of nature, we are part of it. All that is found without is found within, and all that is within us is found without, while the wisdom of all ages lies right in front of us, in each step, with each breath. It is in nature's embrace we can find the mysteries of all existence. We may be brought to ponder the cycles of life and death, the ebb and the flow of seasons, the endless dance of creation and dissolution. We can observe from this holy vantage point that all things are in a state of constant transformation, that nothing ever remains the same. And in this understanding we can find a profound truth that we too are beings of transformation, and that there is another reality that lies behind it all. One that is unchanging, permanent, full of peace, full of life, and full of light. And just like the caterpillar surrenders itself to the cocoon, trusting in the process of becoming, so we also need to surrender to the unknown. Our transformation requires a letting go of everything that is of a passing nature, a release of all that no longer serves us. It asks from us that we step into the unknown, to trust the unseen, and to believe in the possibility of a new reality. This process is not always easy. It is often marked by fear, by uncertainty, by moments that are filled with doubts. But it's in these moments of darkness, in the heat of our fights, that we can find our greatest strength and our deepest wisdom. As we walk through the eternal forest of our soul, we encounter our darkest shadows, all those parts of ourselves we have kept hidden, be it out of fear or out of shame. Nature can teach us that these shadows are not to be feared by, but embraced. As we walk through the eternal forest of our soul, we encounter our darkest shadows, all those parts of ourselves we have kept hidden, be it out of fear or out of shame. Nature can teach us that these shadows are not to be feared, but embraced, for they are a part of the whole. In accepting all parts of ourselves, we find a deeper sense of peace, a deeper sense of wholeness. And this journey of transformation is not one of becoming something else. It is about becoming more of who we truly are. It is about stripping away the layers of illusion, the masks we wear, the stories we tell ourselves and others, until the only thing that is left is the pure essence of being. This essence is not something we acquire or achieve. It is something we uncover, something that always was there, patiently waiting beneath our noisy surface. In this process of uncovering, we come to realize that silence is not merely the absence of sound, but the presence of something much deeper. We become part of a divine presence that permeates all things, in which something simple, like a flower or like a rock, can become our teacher. We may find this wisdom in the silence of the mountains, in the stillness of the lake, or in the quiet of the forest. It is the space that lies between breaths, the pause between two heartbeats. It is this inner silence that we find our true home, our true self. And as we are immersed in this silence, we begin to feel a stirring within us, a gentle awakening with the sacred rhythm of life. This is the transformation we seek. It is not a change of our outer circumstances, but a change in our inner reality. It is a shift from the noise of our mind to the silence of our hearts, from the chaos of the world to the stillness of the soul of the world. It is a journey that goes from separation to unity, from fear to love, and from illusion to truth. In this new reality, we are no longer bound by the limitation of the past. We are free to be who we are, free to live from our deepest truth while we walk our own path with courage and grace. We are free to create, to dream, to dance with the infinite possibilities that life brings. We are free to be the light that we in essence are, and to shine into the world as a beacon of hope, of love, of transformation. And so we return to the world, not as we were, but as we really are, changed, transformed, renewed. We carry within us the silence of nature, the stillness of the forest, the wisdom of the earth. We carry with us the knowledge that we are not separate from the world, but a part of it, a ray of its fullness, while we are part of its strength, of its grace. In this new reality, we are no longer seekers. In this reality of the present moment, we have found what we were looking for. when we were so intensively seeking. We have found ourselves and the whole of creation in the silence, in stillness, in the sacred embrace of the moment, and we realize that we are one with the divine within us, which is the light that shines in all things. And in this discovery we are forever transformed, forever changed, and forever new.